So, Lawrence, I think people who watch cable TV, they hear a lot of exaggeration about how important something is or something like that. This is no exaggeration. This is a momentous legal event, the most significant legal event of our lifetimes, one of the most significant legal events ever in the history of this country. It is up there with Marburg versus Madison, Brown versus Board of Education. Dred Scott is a defining case for the times. And it's so because this indictment, it's really meticulous in its detail, but it's also really balanced and compelling and lays out a case that a guy who was president of the United States, while he was president of the United States, leveraged his office, used his powers to thwart the will of the American people in the most solemn thing they do in our country, which is vote. To borrow your phrase earlier, this is the biggest constitutional crime in our history, whether or not he was successful in obtaining the cooperation of Vice President Pence or not. He certainly tried, but even apart from that, even leave aside everything about Pence, pressuring 7 states to change their votes and send fake electors and all the other shenanigans. This is not the behavior of anyone who should be anywhere near the United States government if the allegations are right. And of course, Donald Trump has the presumption of innocence. This is all got to be proved up in court. As Jack Smith said today, these are just allegations. But if they're right, boy, Jack Smith had no question. He had to do this. This is an indictment that had to be brought. And, you hear Trump going on his social media platform to say, this is the Biden DOJ that's doing this because they're afraid of my, ability to win the next election. That is, there isn't a phrase that can just say how bogus that is that comes to mind. At least nothing I can say on TV. I think the most important thing for our viewers to understand is that Jack Smith is not part of the Biden DOJ. He's an independent prosecutor. He's not political. He's operating under the special counsel regulations, which give him independence. And I know that because I wrote those regulations when I was a young Justice Department staffer. No one from the Biden administration is telling Jack Smith what to do. These are Jack Smith's independent conclusions that have to be right. And here, what Jack Smith has done is continue the work of people like Liz Cheney on the January 6th committee, people like Judge Ludig, a very conservative Fourth Circuit judge, and many others who have said, look, the rule of law is pretty simple on this stuff. The will of the people governs in elections. And what you did, Donald Trump, was interfere with that. You tried to prevent one of the most solemn things that happens in our country every 4 years, the counting of the votes. So it's compelling, it's detailed, and while Jack Smith has to prove this beyond a reasonable doubt, the most difficult standard in the law, right now I'm feeling like if you're a Jack Smith, you're feeling really good about this indictment.